Hey there, welcome to the Deliver on Your Business podcast, where you are the boss. I'm Ron from EntreCourier.com. Entree is from entrepreneur, for somebody who is in business for themselves. And here's the deal, folks. If you're an independent contractor, you are operating a business, ready or not. So that makes you an Entree Courier. Welcome to the club. This podcast is here to help you think like a business owner and to thrive in your business. So let's get started, shall we? Well, Courier Nation, kind of an emotional day. Okay, not really, but gosh, it's the 31st of the month already. We are on episode 31, the final episode in our 31-day Courier MBA series. 31 episodes already, can you believe it? I mean, it feels like it's only been a few weeks that we've started this whole thing. Folks, Deliver on Your Business is a weekly podcast. It is dedicated to couriers who do deliveries for gig economy apps like Grubhub, DoorDash, Postmates, Uber Eats, some of the lesser-known ones like Caviar, Shipt, and no, I didn't cuss there, that's SHIPT, Instacart, Bite Squad, and DLive. And I know there's probably a bunch of others here. It's going to be impossible to try and catch them all. Now, DLive, in California, they are making their drivers employees over there. So there's kind of a change. It's one of the first changes that I think will drop as a result of the pending legislation in California, but that's a totally different matter. But for those of you who are doing this as independent contractors, this podcast is for you. Now, if you've been following along at all, you're thinking, wait a minute, this has been a daily podcast and you just said weekly. And we did launch with a 31-day daily series, our 31-day Courier MBA series. And in that, we took 31 days, and each day we talked about a different business topic and applied that to what we do in our delivery work. And now we're on number 31. I'm not sure whether to rejoice or kind of mourn a little bit, you know? I was really worried that this would turn into a grind, and there's a couple times where I wondered if I was going to be able to pull this off and get the episodes out each day. But at the same time, I really enjoyed this, and I'm going to kind of miss doing this a little bit. I'm not sure I'll miss it enough to try and do a daily episode, at least not while trying to also be out there full-time driving and still have a life with my family and all those other things. Now, we broke our series up into 5 sections, and we started by talking about developing a business plan, thinking in terms of planning and thinking about laying a foundation for what you want to do. And then we got into operations, where we talked about putting the plan to work. And then on building on the foundation of that plan that we were building. And then we got into finance, which is the money, and we got into customer service. And then we wrapped up a little bit with some episodes on employee relations. Because when you're self-employed, who is your employee? That's yourself. It's all about taking care of your employee here. So you can go to our podcast page at deliveronyourbusiness.com if you wanted to get past episodes. If you just felt like doing a little bit of a binge listen, I'm not sure anybody could really binge listen to me that easily, but if you wanted to do that, you could go there, or you can go to iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, any of those major podcast sites, and you should be able to find Deliver on Your Business there. Now, I would love to get feedback from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments and questions. Especially as we wrapped up this series, I'd love to know if it is something that has helped you at all. And or the other thing that I'd love to know is if you've got any questions that you'd like to have addressed in future episodes. Email me at ron@entrecourier.com. Leave a comment at the episode pages there at deliveronyourbusiness.com. Or you can go to our contact page. And from there, you can click the microphone, and it'll let you leave a voicemail. And if you wanted to, you could even make it onto the podcast, possibly. So, Courier Nation, I want to ask you a question. Has this 31-day Courier MBA series helped you out in any way? Has it helped you to develop, or more than that, to master a business attitude? Gosh, it is just hard to believe that it's already been 31 days. but I do really hope that this has been useful for you. Now, I had scheduled this to be about personal and professional development, but as I look back at the posts that we've done, at the episodes that we've done in this series, it really has been about that topic all along because it's been about mastering your business attitude. And I really hope that it's done just that for you. Your feedback on if and how this has helped you would be incredible. It would mean the world to me. I'd love to hear from you on that. What I want to do is conclude really more with my wishes for you. My wishes for you as a person, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, and a professional to wrap up this series. And maybe these wishes should have been more of an introduction or something at the beginning of it. That's 2020 hindsight. But I think it can be a great summary of the series as well. My wish for you, Courier Nation, is that you understand who you are. I really want you to see yourself as more than just a delivery person. I hope that it has elevated your view of who you are, because you are a business owner. It doesn't matter whether or not that was accidental. It doesn't matter if you hadn't planned to be. You are. And my goal is to take away that mystique around that being a business owner and to help you see yourself as somebody who's very capable, as the kind of person who's got this, and to see yourself as a professional. So my wish is that you can walk away feeling a little more proud of who you are because of what you are doing. My wish for you is that you walk away from this series feeling a little better equipped to make some good business decisions. Much of what I wanted to accomplish was to help you to see different aspects of running a business and to apply that to what we do and to start feeling like, you know what? It's not a stretch to call ourselves business owners. We really are doing things that are business owner type things. Do you know what I mean? And so I wanted to help you become more proactive as a business owner. I wanted to help you set goals to measure what you're doing, to look for ways that you can improve and to grow your business. This was all designed to try and provide you, first of all, kind of a background to help develop an attitude, but then also to give you the tools to help you make good business decisions. My wish for you is that you understand your worth and that you demand nothing less than what you are worth. I've talked about this question a lot during the series where I brought up, look at what can be made here, look at the offers that are being made to you, different things like that, and constantly ask yourself, is it enough? I have encouraged you to set your price high because you are worth that much. Folks, when these delivery apps decided to make you an independent contractor, what they did was they added to your value by calling you a business owner. That made you worth more than just an employee. See, the idea is we get rid of the just when we're talking about ourselves, but you're seeing yourself for who you are. And I hope that you have developed a better idea of your worth to the point that you're not willing to take less than what you're worth. And at some point, I think you're going to come to a conclusion where this business model, where this gig work, it doesn't have enough upside for you, that you understand your worth well enough that you know that you could do even better. And that would be a fantastic thing because you know your worth, you're willing to expect what you're worth, and you are willing to go after it. My wish for you is that this whole experience helps you see this whole gig economy thing as maybe a gateway drug into something greater, maybe into entrepreneurism of other kinds. Because if you're like me, you love the freedom that comes with what we do. I love setting my own schedule. I love not having a boss. I love the challenge of improving and growing. And that's maybe the geeky part of me or whatever, but that's part of the reason that I enjoy doing even dumb little things like tracking what I'm doing, because I love seeing that improvement. There's an incredible feeling when it comes to taking control of what we're doing, especially in an environment where these delivery apps want to be the ones to control us. But when you take control, when you become the boss, and when you start running your own business and seeing your worth, and taking advantage of that and controlling your own life and your own job, there's a rush to that. There's an incredible rush to that feeling. Now, I've said this a lot of times, that there is a ceiling to what we do because we're trading our time for money. There can be some really good days. There can be some really good deliveries. But those deliveries are, those best deliveries are really the ceiling. And I really hope that you get to a point where that ceiling just isn't high enough for you. You know what I mean? I want you to get to a point where you see your potential and you start thinking of things like your passions and the things that you are good at. And you get some confidence out of what you've been doing in this delivery stuff. And you take it as an opportunity to take off from there. And whether that is starting your own business in some other area that has even more freedom to actually operate as your own business, maybe that's getting into a career field you wanted to get into, whatever it is. I just really hope that the freedom and being your own boss, taking control of your life, will spark something in you where you really start to dream big. Because you can do some fantastic things as long as you trust in yourself and believe in yourself enough to go for it. So my wish for you is that this gig economy thing is just more of a springboard for you, where you can bounce off of that and really start to fly. My wish for you is that this series helps spur you on to some real growth. Folks, if I have helped even one person to see the potential in themselves, to me, it is worth all of the time that I put into this series, into this podcast and everything. I think my wife probably thought I was nuts because when I told her that I'm going to put out this podcast episode every day for a month and do the posts that go with it and all of this stuff, she looked at me like I was a little crazy there. And especially when she said, "You're not getting any money for this." And, but I just, I thought that this was a good way to help build, but especially to lay a foundation for you where you see yourself as a business owner, where you actually master that business attitude. And if it has helped even one person to do that, it is worth all the time that we put into it. So maybe this is the part where we get into the personal and professional development that was actually scheduled for this episode, right? I want this to be an encouragement for you to grow and to do some awesome things. I think that we've got a bit of a self-esteem problem in our industry because we approach it all from this deficit mentality. We say we are just a delivery person. Well, I want you to get that just out of your vocabulary when you're talking about yourself. Too often we feel like this isn't a real profession, that this isn't a real business. And folks, it is. Whether or not it is real has nothing to do with what you're doing. It has to do with who you are. And it is real. It is a profession because you are a professional. And I really hope that you see that. I hope that you see that there really is more of a sense of running a business than you ever thought. I hope that you see that in yourself. I hope that you see beyond that the potential in yourself to do even more. I hope that you get rid of that just when you talk about what you do. You see yourself as a professional, and you see this as an opportunity to grow. Now, here's a couple things that I really encourage you to do. There's 2 episodes that I think are really important right here when we talk about this growth, when we talk about this development. And the first one is episode 3. And I'll put links so that you can get to it in our show notes. That'll take you to the page that's related to these episodes. And from there, you can either read the semi-transcript that we've got, or else you can listen to the episode right off of the page there. But in episode 3, we talked about understanding your why. It was kind of about creating a mission statement. It was about just asking yourself, what in the world am I doing this for anyway? And then digging into the answers for why you're doing this and asking yourself, why is that important? And I really encourage you to go to that episode and walk yourself through that question, really dig into the stuff that is really important to you. The other episode that I encourage you to go to is episode 7, because we talk about developing an exit plan. folks, start dreaming. Start thinking about your why. Start thinking about the things that are really passionate for you. Start thinking about things like, if you could do anything for a living, what would it be? Start thinking about the things that you can do to get you there. And that's a lot of what episode 7 is about. And it gets into then also saying, and then start using your time while you're driving to start preparing for that. So I really encourage you to go back to episodes 3 and 7. Think about your passions, think about your why, and then start thinking about where can you go from here? Because folks, here's the thing. I think that doing this delivery business in the gig economy, I do believe it's a profession that you can be proud of. I do believe that you're really running a business, and it's all of this stuff more because of you, not because of what you're doing. You know, you are a professional, and the more that you see yourself as a professional, the more you are a professional. So it's sort of a self-fulfilling thing. It's all about attitude, and that's why mastering a business attitude is so important. But here's the thing. I also think it's just the beginning. I think that it can be more. I think you can do more. I think that there is a ceiling. And I believe that when it's all said and done, that ceiling isn't going to be high enough for you. And so I want you to start dreaming of what is beyond that ceiling. I want you to prepare for doing some fantastic things. I want you to use the opportunity to listen to the podcasts and the audiobooks. I mean, my gosh, if there is a podcast out there for the business side of doing delivery work, there's a podcast for everything, right? You can learn so much, grow, develop, start setting your sights on stuff that is so far above the ceiling of what this delivery stuff is. If you can do that, if this has helped in any way, just be a small part of somebody doing that, that would feel so awesome to know that. Do you know what I mean? Now, at the end of all of my episodes, I always put this line in there where I say, go, take control of your life and go and be the boss. My hope for you is that through this series, you've developed that business attitude, that you've developed this sense of being a professional, and that you have developed this attitude that you're worth it to the point where you have it in your mind to actually do that, to take control of your life and to be the boss. So Courier Nation, I guess that's a wrap. And not just a wrap for the episode, but a wrap for the series. Okay, I'm getting kind of emotional here. All right, I'm over it. Folks, it's not a wrap, though, for the Deliver on Your Business podcast. We will be continuing, but as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a weekly podcast, and so we will be transitioning to our original planned weekly schedule. Now, we're going to take a few days off on this, but next week, we'll start kicking off with our weekly Friday episodes. But in the meantime, we will still be putting out some information over on entrecourier.com, so you can keep up on the blog. You can subscribe to You can subscribe to our weekly newsletter and keep up on what's going on there. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and just search for Entre Courier in those places, and you can kind of keep up on what's going on. You know what we've got right now this week? Everybody's waiting for the new DoorDash pay model to drop and find out what's going on with that. I don't know if it'll happen this week, next week, or next month, or whatever. They don't tell us that part, but we want to try and stay on top of things like that. You know what I mean? And so I really encourage you to kind of keep up on things. Now we're thinking about doing some things maybe a little more on maybe Instagram or YouTube. So if you stay tuned, if you've got some ideas of things that you would think would work really well in those areas, shoot me a note and let me know. In the meantime, folks, can you do me a favor? Now, here's the thing with that is that I feel like I should earn the right to ask a favor like that. And so I am hoping that providing good information for you is a way of earning that right. But if the information in this podcast or on our website are helpful to you, if you think that they would be helpful to anybody else that's doing delivery stuff, could you share the word? Could you let people know about us? If you can share us on social media, if you could leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher, it's stuff that can help us to be found. And if we can find more people, we can help more people to deliver on their businesses. And as always, the last thing that I ask you is go out there. Take control of your life, your career, your profession, your dreams. Go and be the boss.